And my mic is muted. I get it. So, welcome again to another late night home theater hangout with just me today. Just me by myself tonight. But I'm taking a break tonight from my home theater build. I've been working diligently for the past 2 weeks because I got a lot of movies to review. I got a lot of home theater gear to review. Got a lot of speakers to review. So I've been plugging away at it every day. I've been waking up at like 1 o'clock in the afternoon to get working on this place. And we're getting closer. We're really getting closer. I probably should have took some pictures and uploaded it to show you guys, but I did build my riser. So my riser's pretty big. It's a lot bigger than the last one. It's not humongous, but it's bigger than what I'm used to from living in the apartment. So the riser's like 12 feet deep. It's like 13 feet wide. It is 18. Well, right now it's only 13 feet in height, but tomorrow we're going to be raising it so it's flush with my my entry door. So it's going to be 18 inches in height, and I'm going to put ramps in there. So if you missed the stream that I did with Matt Pose a couple of days ago, we talked about building a riser. So it's going to be a pretty tall riser with ramps. I figured I would go with ramps because if I'm going to review subwoofers and stuff like that, it would be easier to roll in subwoofers and speakers with a hand truck down a ramp rather than rolling them over with some on steps. So I've been working on that, working on the riser, on the platform, I did some painting. I painted my ceiling, removed all the lighting fixtures on the ceiling fan, painted it bare. I used bare paint, which is I think they call it super black. No, my bad. They call it dead flat bare paint. And that paint is like so dark, it just like sucks in all the paint. It's flat. It's just crazy. It's crazy dark in there right now. It makes the room feel actually a lot smaller. And so I painted the ceiling, mudded the openings, and try to clean it up as good as possible so I can get ready to mount the 6 height speakers. And tomorrow I've got the new speakers that are coming in tomorrow, at least a pair of the new speakers that are coming in tomorrow. That's going to grace 2024's home theater. So these new speakers are going to be my reference speakers for the rest of the year. I know I said they were going to be the Sendo speakers in my last video that I shot, but they're going to be different speakers. So they're not going to be Sendo speakers. We're going a different route this time around, and hopefully it pans out and they sound a lot. I don't know if they're going to sound a lot better, but hopefully they sound better. So be on the lookout for tomorrow's little unboxing overview of the new speakers that are going to be in the home theater tomorrow night at some point in time. But tomorrow I am going to be sealing up the doors and windows in the theater. So that's going to be exciting. And then I've got some new... Valencia sent me some seats as well, which is going to be delivered, I think, on Wednesday. So I got some Valencia seats that are coming in. They're probably not going to be the... I don't know if they're going to be the everyday seats that are going to be in the theater, but I do have some seats coming in from Valencia. The new ones, I think they're the Monza something or another, Monza Carbon or something like that. They're coming in tomorrow. I mean, they look kind of cool from the pictures. I'm still a fan of their Barcelona seats with the low backs. I think the low backs on the Barcelonas are like 30 inches in height, so they come up to like my shoulders if you're like 5'8", 5'9". It makes a lot of sense if you are a real audiophile. You want to get the most surround effect. Those seats are pretty awesome. But stay tuned for... I got a speaker unboxing hopefully tomorrow. Probably tomorrow night, late night. And then the Valencia video review will come out probably on Saturday. And then we had a couple of live streams coming up coming up next week. I think Thursday. Thursday, I think Kaleidoscape is officially going to be like a channel partner slash sponsor for my movie reviews. I know I haven't done a movie review, geez, since like November, December, probably of last year. So, Kaleidoscape is going to be like sponsoring those reviews, the upcoming stuff, especially the stuff that I've missed. So, since Kaleidoscape and like digital platforms get their movies sometimes a month earlier before the physical releases come out, I'll be able to review these, like most of them, since Kaleidoscape is going to be covering those for me. And as you guys know, like, Kaleidoscape stuff basically looks like physical media, anyways. Maybe a little bit better, but never worse. I don't think it's ever looked worse. But be on the lookout for more movie reviews coming up. I think I might be covering I was gonna do the James Cameron stuff, but I think all the 4K Blu-rays came out like today, so it kind of wouldn't make sense. I mean, maybe I'll still cover it today. I don't know. But I got the speaker stuff. I got the speaker video coming out tomorrow, so maybe I'll. What's tomorrow? Tuesday. So maybe I'll do the speaker review, not review, but speaker unboxing tomorrow. Then maybe I'll check out a couple of the James Cameron 4Ks, like True Lies and maybe like Aliens. Those are my two favorite ones of the recent releases that he's dropping. So maybe I'll just do that for this week because I haven't done anything in a while. I do want to check out. I do still want to cover The Creator on 4K because that was a great looking movie, which I thought should have probably have won the best visual effects this year instead of Godzilla minus one. I'm not sure why Godzilla minus one beat out The Creator. Clearly, The Creator was a better looking movie, I thought. But I do want to do The Creator in 4K. I don't know what the Atmos is going to sound like, but I want to cover that. I know visually it looked awesome. It was actually shot on the camera. It was actually shot on the camera that I use, the FX3, Sony FX3. So that's impressive. I didn't think it looked that great at the theaters, but who knows? Maybe it looks better on home video, on the home release. I mean, it's an older movie. It's like a couple months old now, but I'm sure you guys know what it looked like. But I do want to cover that still. And I probably watch Oppenheimer again. It's only like $20 or $25 on Kaleidoscape, so I'll probably pick up Oppenheimer since it was the best picture of 2023. So I probably should cover that at some point in time. Personally, I don't think I haven't seen it, but I mean, it's like a dramatic movie. There's a lot of just I don't know how people got so hyped up about seeing Oppenheimer in IMAX. Like it's not like a visual spectacular. It's just like it's a drama. I mean, how visually spectacular could you look? But I'll probably do that. It's only a 5.1, as all his movies always are. So I'll probably cover that at some point in time too, probably in the next week or so. So definitely the Creator, probably True Lies, Aliens, and then Oppenheimer. Those are definitely the four 4K titles I gotta cover within the next week or two. And then other than that, then I got a bunch of other hardware that I gotta review. But let's see who we got here right now. Question from this guy, 2005. Shane, will you ever review any of the JTR stuff if they send you one? Will Perlison be a better bet than JTR? Well, I can almost guarantee you that possibly the better bang for your buck, if you just want, a lot of SPL and output, most likely would be the JTR. It's a less expensive product than the Perlison stuff. But I think Perlison shines in different ways. I'm not going to get into it because I have never had a JTR in my place. I've only heard it at different, houses and different people's homes. But I know that Perlison shines in different areas. If you're more about accuracy, stuff like that, I would go with the Perlison stuff. But like I said, you want to get a large amount of SPL. You want to get the impressive looks. Something that's just really big and pretty killer looking. Then yeah, of course, people are going to go for the JTR. It's big. It's not as expensive as more premium stuff, so of course more people are going to be drawn to that. So that's my thoughts on that. Would I review something if they were to send something out to me? Sure, of course I would. I'm not going to turn too many things down that people love. Of course I would check it out. Bob Gray, I'd love to hear your thoughts on Perlison D212S versus the D15S in the same video. I mean, they're very, very similar. I think the only real difference between them, I mean, is this the video you're talking about? The D215 just has way more output. It dug, I mean, just one of those subwoofers dug just as deep as two of those 212s in the old space that I was in. I don't know how it would react, how it would perform in the space that I'm in now, but for the old reviews, that one D215 sounded just as impressive, I think even more so, than the dual D212s. But obviously, if you got a bigger space, two of those subwoofers would probably fill out the space more evenly than a single D215. So, I mean, you got to keep that into perspective if you're going to go two subs against one. They're both top class flagship subwoofers. Two of those, I think, in your space would cure any nulls or any kind of bass defects that you have, frequency defects you have in your room. So, I mean, if you're going to think about buying them, I would go for the two over the single. Bob Gray, I didn't care for Oppenheimer. Listen, I didn't care for Oppenheimer either. I thought it was boring. But people love it. People do love it. So I figured maybe I should probably just like watch it again, review it. Man, I said it before. I did fall asleep during the middle of the movie for about 45 minutes. So I'm sure there's something that I've missed. Maybe it was fantastic. But I'll watch it again. I'm still not the biggest fan of it, but I'll watch it again. Clean Power 20 amp GFI circuits. I will have some dedicated circuits put into my house. So that's coming. That's something that I didn't have at the old apartment. So we'll have that. And from all of the comments that I've gotten from like power conditioners, whether it's Furman or Audio Quest, I'm going to make sure I have a dedicated 20 amp circuit free of anything else in the house going straight to my audio system. And I'm definitely going to revisit the fact that I'm going to put one of these conditioners on that line and see if there's a difference between having nothing interfering in that line versus having it go through a power conditioner. Well, I'm curious to see what that result's going to be. I've always had good results with the power conditioners that I've had in my house, whether it's a Panamax or the Furman or the Audio Quest. I've always had good results. So I will be installing one or a few in the house. Well, I am installing a few in the house. So I guess I'll find out on that front what it's going to be like. Bob Gray was considering two D215s versus four D212s. Oh, man. Come on, man. Of course, the four D212 is going to be better than two D215s. If you were making an even number, If it was like four D212s versus four D215s, of course the 215s are going to win out. I mean, you got more subwoofers to cover your space in your room. Go with the four D212s. 100%. And one in each corner or one in each half portion of the room. Android, the best way to do a house nowadays is to run a battery backup system for the home, like a Tesla Powerwall. It's more consistent voltage than pulling from the grid. I'm thinking, who has that? I know there is. I know you can get that. I know you can get that in a 17-inch form factor, a little bit of height, where everything pulls from the battery. If I'm not mistaken, the Audio Quest and the Furman, like the 20i reference, they have power reserve that they obviously you're not going to power like an entire house, but they do have the power reserve, so it's I believe it's constantly pulling from that battery. Correct me if I'm wrong. So if you need like extra voltage to go to any kind of peaks in your audio, it pulls from the battery rather than just pulling straight from your wall. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong on that, but I'm pretty sure that's how it is. There's that, and then the Furman also has the 15i. I forgot the surge something, not surge something. The power line something or voltage regulator. The voltage regulator, I think it was. I think Furman has a voltage regulator, which is supposed to help with that. I think I did the review on that like 4 or 5 years ago. Is that what you're talking about? That's what we did. It's a huge difference. And this guy here with the new room house. With the new room slash house, any projector upgrades planned? I mean, any upgrades planned for projectors? I mean, we're talking about this is like the third year of the NZ series of JVCs. So I'm gonna guess probably towards the end of the year we might be seeing some new JVC models. I'm not gonna say that for a fact, but I know it's going on like 3 years now, so I'm sure there's gonna be probably a refresh. I don't see them going for 4, 5 years with the same projector lineup. I think they've always kind of refreshed after 3 years. I think Sony's on 2 years this year, and then JVC would be on three. But I am anticipating probably a new JVC announcement this year. Of course, I do have the JVC NZ8. I could have gotten the NZ9, but where the apartment and the space that I was at last last year, the NZ8 was plenty enough. Do I wish I had an NZ9 now? Yeah, sure, I could definitely use the more lumens, but I'm gonna hold off. I'm still gonna keep the NZ8 in the lineup for this year unless they announce something different. Then I'll probably move on from there. So, but no, just I'm still gonna keep up with the NZ8. That's it. I mean, I don't foresee Sony coming out with anything that's gonna be JVC anytime soon, unless they really have something spectacular in the works. I know they have some kind of an announcement coming within the next few weeks. I don't think it's a projector, probably some audio system or a TV or something like that. I don't think it's going to be a projector though. But yeah, no, I'm going to be keeping the NZ8 in the home theater this year for the foreseeable future, until JVC announces something a little bit more upgraded. But that's the good thing about the laser projectors. You get 20,000 hours of output, and just as long as you're not watching movies like 24 hours a day for the next 5 years, these laser projectors you should be good for several years, like 5 years, 10 years or so. Not that I'm going to have the same projector for 5, 10 years, but if you are buying one of these laser projectors, that's the great thing about them is that the longevity is way better than getting a lamp, which is for JVC. I think is if you use it on high output is like 3,000 hours, and then on low, I think it was something like 5,000 hours. Tritan, what do you think of the Klipsch RP 8000 F2? I don't have any thoughts on it because I've never heard it, nor have I heard the Klipsch RP 8000 F1. So I've got like as far as Klipsch speakers in the 5, 6 years on YouTube, I've got zero. I've got zero experience with Klipsch speakers in my house. That being said, one of the first home theater systems I've had was the Klipsch KG series way back in the day. I'm talking like 2003. Yeah, 2003. My daughter was born in 2003. I had a Klipsch KG system with the towers. I forgot what the tower model number was, but there were tower speakers. I think it had 8 in it, and then the horn tweeter. Then I think I had the KG 3.5. I think it was. I think I had the KG 3.5 and KG 1.5. Could be wrong on those model numbers, but I think those two were larger bookshelves. But that was back in 2003. Other than the KG series, I don't have any other like on-hand experience in my own residence, so I can't say how that would sound like. But the one thing that I liked about those old speakers, I believe they were kind of like made out of like real wood veneer, or if not like real wood, because I remember staining one of those speakers. I sanded it down and I stained it black because it was I think it was like birch or something like that. And back then, the wood veneers on those KG series, those are legit, really nice speakers. They're very well made, unlike some of their Best Buy, big box store speakers now, which are, I don't know what the interior wall dimension is, but I don't even. They're super thinly made. I don't know what the RP 8000F or the RP 8000F speakers, how they're made. But listen, when I used to work at Best Buy like 4 years ago, those speakers they sold there, those Klipsch speakers, they're like the walls were so thin. They were like, they just felt really just not very substantial feeling. They felt very hollow and very inexpensive, you know, to put it mildly. So that's why I never kind of got into the Klipsch mainstream speakers because I always felt like they just weren't very well made. And when I worked obviously I worked at Best Buy, and I saw all the Klipsch speakers all the time. We sold a ton of them because they were just like they're easily accessible. They're a very easily accessible brand, and they're not too much money, and they look super cool, especially with the copper drivers. But yeah, man, those speakers that you get at the big box stores, at least that particular model lineup, just wasn't that impressive. I could always hear the resonance in the cabinet. I don't know if you have enough, if you've had enough experience with several different speakers, but sometimes you can just hear the resonance in cabinetry when you're listening to speakers, and I could always hear it in those clipped speakers. So if the RP 8000 is one of those speakers, then I probably wouldn't buy it, and I probably wouldn't like it personally. Where's that question here? Any laser speckle on that NZ8? I think the laser speckle is only, I think people only notice laser speckle on ultra short throws because I've never seen it. I've never seen it on any laser projectors, long throw projectors from Sony or JVC. I have seen it on ultra short throws. And honestly, I never even heard a laser speckle until I read about it and then I went to look for it. Then I was like, oh, that's probably what these guys mean with laser speckle. Maybe I'm not paying attention that much, but now I'm seeing. Now I can see the laser speckle if I'm looking for it. Only on ultra short throws, but I've never seen it on long throw projectors. Shane, were you impressed with the small Golden Ear Super Sub X when you reviewed it? Tony Z. The Super Sub X. Are we talking about? Are we talking about the little 8-inch one, right? With the yeah, I've been impressed with all of the Golden Ear subwoofers. The only thing that I haven't been impressed with the Golden Ear subwoofers are the aesthetics. I'm not a fan of that. I don't know. It's kind of weird. They're that weird kind of shape that they give their subwoofers, where like the corners are kind of chopped off. It's kind of like an octagonal shape almost, but like a weird one. It always kind of reminded me of like a Jello mold, if you know what if you know what I'm talking about. Every time I see their subs, that's kind of what I think about. I think about a Jello mold. I mean, the fit and finish and the construction is like top notch. I mean, the paint job they put on the glossy paint on there, awesome. Just like the Golden Air T66s I have, like the finish is like spotless, man. It's like you know, you see a lot of speakers, glossy speakers that have orange peel effect, but the Golden Ears don't really have that. I mean, there may be some slight orange peel look to it, but for the most part, I mean, it's got a really great. They really have great automotive type finishes on their speakers and subwoofers. It's almost like a Mercedes black almost. It's so good. And the output is great, especially for the size, because they don't have giant subwoofers. And everything from the X up to the XXL, I mean, them things just rock. Great bang for the. I don't want to say great bang for the buck because some of the stuff is pretty expensive, but great bang for their size. I mean, they outperform larger subwoofers for their size, especially the Super Sub X, and then the XXL. Killer subs for the size. I wish they put XLRs on them. I mean, if you're gonna charge $2,500 for a subwoofer, you should probably put an XLR connection on there. I don't know why they don't do that. Very upset that you know they don't do that. Like, why wouldn't you not do that? Travel. What do you think about Emotiva speakers? I don't know. I've only reviewed their subwoofers. I think the Emotiva 13 something. I don't remember the exact name, but I know it was like a 13-inch sub. I liked that subwoofer. I wish it was built a little bit better. But as far as their speakers, I have not reviewed any of their speakers. I don't know what the new ones look like. I believe they came out with some new models recently. I haven't really like looked at them, but the only reason why I haven't reviewed any of their speakers because aesthetically, I'm not attracted to those speakers. Like I wouldn't want to own those speakers, so I've never requested to review any of their speakers because I think at least the previous models, I've always thought they were kind of ugly to me. And if I don't want a speaker in my living room or my music room that I want to look at all the time, I'm not gonna review it. I would never own it. Hence why I never reviewed Emotiva speakers. I mean, if there's other speakers that you haven't seen on my channel, just know if you haven't seen it on my channel, either I can't afford it or I just thought they were ugly. I'm not sure what that means. Bob Gray, do you have any thoughts on hard bottle subwoofers? I don't have any thoughts on them. They look awesome. I mean, I know they make like their own drivers, like bespoke drivers. I know they have legit uh, build quality. I mean, I would love to have a hard bottle subwoofer for sure. They're super expensive though. And listen, I'm just a YouTuber. I don't make a lot of money. I can't afford a hard bottle subwoofer, and they won't send any out for review Trust me, I have exchanged several emails with them over the years, and they have been reluctant to send out any subwoofers. So, would I like to have one? 100%. I've heard nothing but amazing things about their subwoofers. So, yeah, I mean, I would endorse their subwoofers just from word of mouth alone and just from the looks alone. And from everything that I've seen, they look to be pretty impressive. What ultra short throw projector should I go for? I only have $2,500. Kyle Khan. What should you go for? I don't know, man. I kind of like, the new that new Hisense that I reviewed recently. I have no idea what that cost. I think it's $2,500. I mean, that's a really good projector. It's a very small form factor. It's got HDR10. It's got Dolby Vision. It's a bright projector. It's crispy. It's sharp. That was a great looking projector. The AWOL projectors. I don't know if the AWOL has Dolby Vision yet, but I would say probably AWOL. If they're in the $2,500 price range. I think when I reviewed it, it was something like $5,000 or $6,000. But I think they have some that are under $3,000 now. I mean, if it's got Dolby Vision, I would go for it. I mean, AWOL or the Hisense. That's my money. I mean, I liked some of the BenQ stuff that I reviewed, but I mean, they're still doing HDR10, whereas a lot of the competitors are doing Dolby Vision. So I would say AWOL or Hisense. I mean, if you want 3D, if you're a 3D fan, obviously you would have to go with AWOL because Hisense doesn't do 3D. So I mean, so if that's a thing, then I would go AWOL or just any projector that does 3D, like them, or I'm trying to think of another. BenQ does 3D too, but then you don't have Dolby Vision. So I would have to say AWOL, an AWOL projector. WKRP Piper in Cincinnati. Oh man, you must be in my age group if you are familiar with WKRP in Cincinnati. Sealed or reported for home theater. I will probably be going with 4 stereo integrity 24-inch sealed subs or B Audio 33-inch subs. I don't think I've ever heard of B Audio. Now I must look at B Audio. I mean, if you got the space for a 33-inch subwoofer. How do you spell subwoofer? B Audio. Oh, is this car audio stuff here? B2 Audio XM Extreme Musical. Look at that, 10 hertz to 500 hertz. Oh no, this is totally different. 33-inch subwoofer. Oh, B2. Yeah, that's a fucking monster subwoofer right there. Look at that magnet on that. Let's share the screen here because this is the first time I'm seeing this driver. Let's add that to the scene. B2 Audio XM. Look at that. Are you telling me that's a 33-inch subwoofer? No, that's not a 33-inch. Which one is the 33? The Kraken, the Great White, Ref 4? Does it tell you which model this is? This is 21, 15, 18. I have no idea what size this is, dude. Subwoofers. Let's just go to subwoofers. Accept the cookies. Let me let you tell me which model is it. I don't know, but that's a badass. I mean, this looks like a card subwoofer. That's a 5-inch. That's a 12-inch. 12. 15, 15. I don't know. I don't feel like browsing this website, man. But I don't know, man. Those that subwoofer looks pretty fucking heavy duty. I don't know what model that 33-inch sub is, but yeah, listen, I can't see either way, but I'm sure either one is gonna like belt out a tremendous amount of SPL. Shane, please review Taga Harmony Tab 5.0 series if possible. Curious how they hold up against the premium brands. Taga Harmony Tab 5.0. Taga Harmony 5.0. Man, you guys are dropping some speakers I never even heard of. Taga Harmony speakers. Here we go. Oh, these look like Oops, here we go. Look at these speakers. I never heard of these speakers either. Where are you guys coming up with these speaker brands from? Let's look at the specs on these. Accept. Specifications. I mean, they look all right. Kind of remind me of some entry level ELACs, possibly, or maybe some Pioneer speakers. 6 ohm, 89 dB. It's going to feed 20. $55 hertz, 25K. I mean, they look all right. I don't know what they cost. I mean, they look all right. They don't look too crazy. Yeah, I mean, look all right. Yeah, that looks a lot like an ELAC almost. Please review these speakers. Hey man, if they send them to me, I'll review them. I don't have a problem with that. Oh, are you getting a new theater? Am I getting a new theater? I mean, I have a new theater. I'm not getting a new one, but I have one. I have a different one. Have you seen the Stereo Integrity? I have. Have I seen Stereo Integrity? I've seen it in cars. I have not seen Stereo Integrity in the house before, so I can't say what it's going to be like. I know it's I know it's a kick-ass subwoofer for the car. You know, I always found it weird that people would put car drivers in homes. But hey, man, if it works, it works. I know, I don't know what the SQ on. I don't know what it is for like sound quality and stuff like that. I know some folks don't believe in sound quality in subwoofers. They just care about SPL and low frequency extension. But there's a such thing as like having like high quality bass. So I don't know what the Stereo Integrity drivers would sound like in like a 2-channel audiophile-esque setup without sounding. Does it sound overly boomy? Is it just loud? Is it uncontrolled? Is it what does it sound like? I don't know. I mean, there's like so many variables because people use them in different boxes and custom installs and vehicles and homes. So I couldn't give you a perspective on Stereo Integrity drivers because everybody's going to probably build their own subwoofers their own way. Ryan is going with Essendo. He's picking up the 50-inch subwoofer this weekend. Probably be a very killer home theater. Yeah, I know he's going with all Essendo with the Black Swans and all that stuff. So that should be a kick-ass theater. I mean, Essendo makes some fantastic speakers. You guys know I was rocking Essendo all of 2023 in my old theater for all my reviews. It was kind of like my reference speakers for a good year or so, for almost a year, not quite a year, but close to a year. So listen, I'm a proponent of Essendo speakers. I'm friends with the owner. I get along with those guys. They make great products, and yeah, you can't go wrong with their speakers, and especially their subwoofers. What's this? WKRP says it's got wet bass. Ooh. I have 15 subs at home, and they all sound different. Oh, well, there you go. That's what I mean, cyber athlete. I mean, usually I've always had like 6 or 7 subs on hand. At least at the old apartment, I've always had like 6 or 7 different subs on hand, and they're all kind of different sounding. Some of them play a little bit louder than others. Some of them dug deeper than others. Some of them started chuffing quicker than others. Some of them didn't chuff at all. Some of them had a bit more distortion. Some of them were a little bit more boomier sounding. I mean the sound, I feel like it just ranges, man. Wet bass. Oh, all right. All right. So Cyber Athlete is gonna rifle off all his different subwoofers. Oh man, I still got this. I still got this showing. Apparently, a Cyber Athlete is a fan of Rel subwoofers. You got a lot of Rel subwoofers. You got some classics in there. Martin Logan Depth subwoofer. Okay, yeah, you're still going. He's still going. There was I think there was a question here. Yes, what happened to your per listen? Was that question for me? What per listen are we talking about here? Are we talking about subwoofers? I've never owned a per listen subwoofer before. Karam, what became of your per listen gear? I mean, the only per listen that I own are a pair of per listen R5Ts. So I ended up buying the per listen R5Ts because it was their more affordable line of speakers that still measured relatively well, almost ruler. They measure almost like ruler flat, and they're very neutral speaker. So I decided to buy the R5Ts as my reference pair of speakers that if I was going to review speakers, I would compare against those speakers. So whether it's a more expensive speaker or a cheaper speaker, I would always have a reference pair of speakers. And I still have the Perlison R5Ts as my reference pair of speakers, which all other speakers measure up to. And I don't think those speakers are crazy expensive. They're $8,000 a pair. Yes, it's expensive. It's not cheap, but also, in the context of hi-fi, there are speakers, especially in the Perlison lineup, that cost way more money than the R5Ts. But I still have them. The subwoofers I don't have because they were never mine to own. Have you heard anything about JVC or Sony coming out with new projectors this winter or fall? No, I have not. I actually spoke about that a couple minutes ago. I thought you owned per listen subs too. No, I don't own any per listen subs. There's another question up here. The best. Let me just scroll up here. There any big differences between the KF92, the KF92 and the KC92, or is KF just refreshing their small 9-inch subs? Dude, I had no idea there's a KC92. I reviewed the KF92. I had no idea there's a KC92. The KC92, $2,000. Wow, there is a KC92. Is this new? this is new to me. I mean, this looks like the same subwoofer. KEF KC92 is $2,000. Wasn't this looks just like the old one, man. Maybe a little bit more squarish up front. Twin 9-inch force canceling subwoofers. Yeah, but I mean, if this sounds anything like the KF92, man, these little subwoofers are fucking killer subwoofers. I mean, if you can get a KF92 on discount, get yourself a KF92 because them things are awesome sounding. And I think I said it in the stream when I reviewed it. I didn't say it in the review, but I know I've said it before. But I actually like the KF92 over the Arendal 2. What was it? The Arendal 2V? Yeah, I think it was the Arendal 2V. The Arendal, I had the KF92, which is like the KF92 is a very small subwoofer. And then the Arendal 2V, which is like their flagship subwoofer. Man, the KF92s went deeper. I mean, they went. I mean, in my room is definitely it's different now, but it was in that particular room. Both KF92s sounded way better than the Arendal 2Vs. And those 2Vs, they're like 120 some pounds each. The KF92, I can carry each one, and I can carry two of them on my shoulders and walk out. And I thought they sounded better. They went to like 7 hertz in my room. The Arendals couldn't do that. I don't know why. I don't know why those gigantic Arendals just didn't mesh well in that room. That's the only subwoofer that just didn't sound as good as I thought it was going to sound in my room. It was an okay subwoofer. It's kind of like an average subwoofer, but compared to the KF92s, man, it wasn't even like a thing. The KF92s. I'm sure maybe in a different room, the Arendals, they're bigger subwoofer. They could probably belt out more SPL, but as far as like SQ and just the extension that I got from the KEFs, those little sub dual 9s, yeah, man, they were awesome sounding. Kyle Khan, thank you. Been watching your channel for years. Thank you, Kyle Khan. I'm excited for that. Oh, Triton, are you excited for all the new 4K transfers happening? I'm really excited for Ocean's Trilogy myself, and I just picked up The Abyss. I think the Oceans, at least Ocean's 11, I think it was on Netflix. It was either on Netflix or HBO Max. And I mean, it looked good. It looked good when I saw it on streaming. I don't know if they're going to get an Atmos update or not, but it looked good for streaming. And at the time I did compare it, the streaming versus the 4K Blu-ray, and I liked the streaming version, although it did seem a little bit hot. I don't know if that's going to transfer, if that's going to carry over to the physical media, but I thought that the stream seemed a little hot. Like the whites were a little hot, the colors like the reds and stuff were kind of scorching. So I don't know. It just seemed like they cranked up the contrast or something. We'll see when that comes out. I don't know. I didn't know those were coming out on physical media. Tony Z, Shane, have you heard of Sigberg subwoofers? The Model 10D. They're out of Norway and are kind of pricey at $4 million. No, Tony Z, I have not heard of Sigberg subwoofers, and I doubt they would ever send me one of these. Actually, would they send me one of these? I don't know why they wouldn't, because you know damn well those subwoofers don't cost them $4 million. So let's take a look and see. So maybe they would send me one of their subwoofers, because it's probably only worth like, the subwoofers are probably only worth like, hold on a second here. What is going on here? What is this? Let me add this to the scene. Sigberg speakers. For their list of product awards, Audioholics gave them Product of the Year in 2022? Sigberg? What? Page not found. Huh. I gotta ask Gene if he's ever reviewed one of these Sigberg subwoofers. Apparently they have. Is this what we're talking about? None of this looks like it's... This all looks like inexpensive. Not inexpensive, but... nothing that's worth $4 million. Like, that's not a $4 million. That's a $2,000 subwoofer. My man, what are you talking about here? Sigberg? Did I type that in right? Sigberg Audio. I don't know. You gotta drop a link, because none of that stuff looks like it's remotely close to $4 million. I wish Blu-rays get more attention this time, since they have upped the capacity of the discs. Did they? Is there a new version of Is there a new version of 4K Blu-rays that goes beyond 100 gigs? Hmm. Bobby Johnson. I haven't checked out Dune yet. I heard it's pretty good. I mean, Dune has been out since like what? 2020? 2019? I mean, it's on HBO Max. It's streaming on HBO Max. I mean, you should it's an easily accessible movie. If you own HBO Max, oh, actually, Dune is also on Netflix. If you have Netflix or HBO Max, go ahead and watch Dune. It's a good movie. It's got some pretty good sound too. Oh, 4M is for 4M is 4,000, not million. MM would be millions. Oh, my bad. I don't know. I don't live in Norway. I don't know. You said $4 million. I would love to check out a $4 million subwoofer though, 100%. But I was check that. Are we talking about these subwoofers? I have not seen. I've never even heard of this brand before. They're out of Norway, Sigberg Audio. Let's add it. Let me add it back in the scene here. Let's add it back to the scene. Sigberg Audio. Incognito subwoofer. These subwoofers are kick-ass. Jay Ziyagi. Oh, so Jay got them. All right. So I guess they're giving out subwoofers then. This looks like an under the couch type of dealie here. Yep. Slim profile. This reminds me of the PSB audio subwoofers I've had. That driver doesn't look that impressive, but maybe it sounds good. Let's go with the 12-incher. I'm impressed by how quick Incognito keeps up with my quick and nimble Piegas. This is the best subwoofer I've ever had. I mean, that doesn't look like something I would personally be interested in, but what about the 10D? That's 3,000 USD. I mean, I don't know, dude. This doesn't look like something I'd be interested in either. Well, at least it's got XLR. That's cool. I have DSP. 10D is not only the most compact dual 10-inch subwoofer in the world, it's also among the most powerful. Enjoyed deep, rich, without sacrificing floor space and visual estate. Compact subwoofer that outperforms high-end subwoofers. Review specifications: 23 hertz to 250 hertz, HyperX Encore, 500 watt amp, DSP enabled. Interesting. The best small sub that money can buy. Audioholics. Oh, Audioholics reviewed this, huh? Oh, interesting. I must have missed that review. We'll see. I don't know. Maybe I'll reach out. We'll see what happens. Sigberg Audio. Okay. I could see you reviewing this new oh yeah, the Macintosh subwoofer. Yeah, I don't see them sending. Macintosh doesn't like to send out their really good stuff to people. They're definitely not gonna send me that $50,000 subwoofer. I know the one you're talking about, the one that with the amp on the bottom, with the display on the bottom of it. They ain't gonna send that to me. If they send it to me, they ain't getting it back. And they better send two of them. Bobby Johnson. I meant part two, my bad. Oh, part two. Well, you should go see part two. If you like part one, you probably like part two. If you didn't like part one, you're not going to like part two. If we're talking about story-wise, if we're talking about like audio and visuals, if you like part one, you'll equally like part two. I'm sure Dune Part 2 is going to be definitely in the top 10 best looking and sounding movies of 2024. Although I wasn't that impressed with what I heard in the Dolby Cinema, the one that I went to. I mean, I know the bass was lacking in that particular auditorium, but as far as Atmos effects, I didn't hear a whole lot of Atmos effect in that movie this time around. It could be the theater. Who knows? I guess I'll find out in like another month or so when it comes out in 4K. Karam says, gotta go. Good night. Good night, Karam. You have a good night. And Bobby Gray has got to go to sleep as well. And I've been on for 56 minutes, so let's hang out for 5 more minutes. So this Thursday, I have a live stream / podcast with John from Trinov Audio. We're going to go over speaker placement. We're going to go over like high channel count speaker placement. So 16 channels and up, which may or may not pertain to you. But I wanted to talk about that and the kind of effects that you can get with having high channel count in your room. The proper placement to put speakers that are above 16 channels. For my room, I'm gonna have kind of like a mirror of the front wall, back wall, side walls. So I'm gonna have LCR up front. I'm also gonna have an LCR in the back, kind of like what I had at the old theater. I'm gonna have 3 surrounds on each side wall. So basically wide channels and then surround 1 and then surround 2. And then it's going to mirror on the opposite wall as well. So 3 surround channels on the side, 3 surround channels on the opposite side, 3 channels up front, 3 channels in back, and then 6 channels up front, which would come out to like 18 channels. So I'm going to have 18 channels in the new theater. So I wanted to have Trinov on since they're one of the few processors that can handle that many channels, aside from Storm Audio. But we're going to talk about that, the proper placement for those high channel counts, maybe distances between channels, maybe some crossover points, and what kind of effects. Are we going to hear different sounds traveling through all 18 channels? Are we going to get channels that mirror each other? Do we get distinct sounds between each channel? Stuff like that we're going to explore on Thursday's stream. And the following week, we're going to have top 10, either top 5 or top 10 demos for 2024 Atmos mixes, DTSX mixes. So we're gonna go. I'm gonna have the folks on Kaleidoscape on to talk about their top demos that they like to use to demonstrate all their demo theaters, which puts to good use not only their platform but the usage of whatever surround system that's going to be in their, their showrooms and stuff like that. And then of course I'm going to have my own list. So that's coming up. That's coming up on the 24th, I believe. So this week, Trinov. Next week, we're gonna do the top 5 or top 10 favorite Atmos demo discs. And I definitely want to know what's on your list as well. I mean, let me know what's on your list. Leave it down in the comment section, because there might be something I'm missing. Because sometimes I get stuck in my own head when I'm doing reviews, and I only review the same demos over and over again. So sometimes I don't think outside of my own box. So if you guys have something that's I should probably check out, or maybe I just missed, or I'm thinking about, I must know and go back and watch it. And then of course, more 4K reviews are coming up. Like I said, Kaleidoscape is going to be a sponsor of these reviews, Kaleidoscape and Dream Media. So they're going to be supplying some of these early reviews on the Kaleidoscape platform. So instead of having to find out what it's going to look like on physical media a month, 2 months later, Kaleidoscape will have it that much earlier than physical media. So you guys know how the deal is. I mean, I've been doing it for the past few years, so you know what the deal is. But I'm excited for that. So that's it, man. 1 hour. Thanks for hanging out with me tonight, guys. Stay tuned this Thursday for the Trinov podcast.